What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Saturday edition of the Pandemic Update for Saturday, November 18th, 2023. Unfortunately, COVID cases are starting to rise across the country. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where we do talk about the COVID pandemic and other viruses as well, such as flu. We got new flu data. I'll show that to you at some point in this video, probably towards the end of the video. And as you can see here, the headline says it all. COVID data show small rise ahead of the holidays. So yes, my friends, COVID's not over. COVID, it's still out there. And if you are new here, give me 15 minutes of my time. Let me prove to you that COVID is still out there and that a lot of people are still becoming infected. If at the end of this video you feel, wow, that data report, he's on to something. I didn't realize that COVID was still a big problem. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And let me help keep you and your family and loved ones safe. Alrighty. Again, COVID data shows small rise ahead of the holidays, and in this case, some are going to disagree with me on this. In this case, the word small rise is actually good wording for now. A few days from now, I'm not going to agree with that, but right now, here, Saturday, November 18th, it's good wording for most states. There are some states where that's not good wording. And what I mean by good wording is they're not using the word small spike or little bump or coughs are going up again, all that business. They're not using that wording. But it's good for most states, not all states. Let me explain. Let's take a look at Ohio. Today, we're going to take a look at a lot of states. We're not going to look at a bunch of news stories. We're behind on a bunch of states that came in this week, and we're going to catch ourselves up with that in case maybe you don't know what the numbers are in some of these states. I'm going to share them with you. Cleveland, Ohio, for the 5th week running, the number of new COVID-19 cases in Ohio increased, with case numbers rising from 7,511 last week to 8,557 this week. Yes, my friends, that's a big increase. And I have to assume neighboring Pennsylvania, my state, is having equally as big of a rise, if not bigger. We're a bigger state. Because Pennsylvania, let me show you this. I talked about this the other day. I delivered to a rehabilitation facility. It was a DoorDash delivery. I accepted it. I didn't realize where it was going. And most people are probably thinking, well, what seems to be the problem here? No, there was a problem. It said, hand it to me in the instructions. I'm like, oh, great. So I pull up and see that's a rehabilitation center. And I'm greeted with these signs on the door. It says, we have 50 COVID positives. You can see it right here in the picture. This is what I was referring to the other day. 50 COVID positives. So right off the bat, I try calling a person. Wouldn't you know, they don't answer the phone, and instructions says, this is for so-and-so. I'm like, oh, this is great. So they're not answering the phone. I went inside, left it with the receptionist, told them. I had my mask on. This is one of the reasons why I always mask. There's thousands of reasons. I left it at the receptionist desk, took a picture for confirmation. Out the door I went. Never got a hold of them. I'm assuming they got it, but again, 50 positives. People who are not affiliated with the facility shouldn't even be allowed to go into the facility. But again, this is just 50 positives at just one facility in the state of Pennsylvania, which, like I said the other day, 300 miles across Pennsylvania stretches. So, yeah, Pennsylvania is definitely rising as well. I could tell you another brief story. I had a delivery last night to a hospital, unfortunately. Again, another situation. They didn't know where they were. They sent me a text message. We're at the emergency department. I go, oh no. Because, you know, that's very risky. And it turns out they weren't there. But what I did notice was, this is Abington Hospital in Pennsylvania, in case you're wondering. The emergency room was full. Full. On Friday night. At about 6:45, 7 o'clock. The emergency room was, standing room only. Ambulances coming in left and right. Just unbelievable. Let's move on. So we know Pennsylvania's rising. We can show you some other states we will in a moment. I want to show you air quality first because air quality has been a big bad problem. And out on the West Coast, someone told me that part of the reason why the Northwest gets bad at this time of year is a lot of people have fireplaces that create smoke. I don't know. Is that true? If that is, huh, very interesting to see that that actually causes bad air quality there. What we do note is improvement in the East, and this is some good news. Finally, some improvement in the East. Still a few bad sites, but nothing as bad as it was this past week. For whatever reason, it was not a good week for air quality. So it caught a lot of people off guard. I've asked a few people, why are there not air quality alerts? They told me it didn't meet criteria. I don't know what that was all about. It seemed relatively high to me. I've seen better air quality days that did have air quality alerts. And mind you, when an air quality alert is issued, it's issued by the state, not your National Weather Service. All right, moving on now. We do know Walgreens this week was up slightly, 27.2%. Prior week was 26.6%. Difference of up 0.6%. So COVID positivity is rising at Walgreens. Testing was up pretty big this week, 13,097 versus 7,667. I would love to see that come in on Monday over 20,000. That would tell me that people are doing the right thing and getting tested before going to Thanksgiving gatherings. Now, you know what I told you the other day. If you saw my video on Wednesday, or Thursday, I should say, you know that I told you, hey, it's time to reconsider those Thanksgiving travel plans and maybe bag them. But if you can't do that, please take precautions beforehand. All right, moving on to this now. And I wanted to show you this. This is the wastewater page, but there's this little United States at a glance up here. And I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. Trend in hospital admissions, up 8.6%. Trend in COVID-19 deaths, up 9.1%. Yes, deaths are starting to rise again already. We haven't even had Thanksgiving yet. And I mean, look here. You can see the arrow. It's on the CDC website. So that's not good. Look at this. Trend in emergency department visits, up 7.1%. Even COVID positivity nationally, 0.1%. Hey, up is up. We will have a wastewater update tomorrow afternoon. Taking a look here. The one thing that does stand out, the number of orange sites, it's increasing again. It's up to 258. We'll have a full wastewater update tomorrow. Taking a look at the latest variants, HV.1 leads the way at 29%, EG.5 at 21.7%. There is supposed to be, well, every other week comes the update for this. That would fall on this upcoming Friday. I don't know if any of this data is actually going to update because of the Thanksgiving holiday. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'm leaning towards it's probably not going to update. We're going to get limited data after, say, Tuesday. Maybe even Tuesday will be a day where we get limited data. It's hard to say. Don't worry. The pandemic updates are happening. At least Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can't tell you what's going to happen on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Big question marks, because those are very busy days for me. If you're in the delivery business, it's one of the busiest times of the year. The 3 days leading up to Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, I'm delivering to all the wrong reasons. Stuff that will lead to COVID spread, but what can you do? Taking a look at emergency department visits and COVID-19 hospital admissions, yep, they're up. It's 16,239. That's not something we like to see. And let's come over to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is starting to see an increase in EMS incidents again. It's not a big increase, but little small increases here and there, and I think that's going to continue. 776 incidents reported yesterday, and right now, or at least before I started this video, okay, it's not, I was about to say Montgomery County is really busy. Looks like it got a little quieter. This list was much larger. Just a few moments ago, this was up to 15 incidents. There's 8 active EMS calls right now. Let's go over to Chester County. Chester County's still pretty busy. I'm seeing sick person, stroke, sick person, EMS ST. I think that stands for EMS standby. That could be for football games of some sort, but you get the idea of what's going on. New Jersey, a lot of hospitals not reporting. Only 26 out of 70. I fear that could be a potential issue for the next week, because especially the holiday weekend. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes down to almost near 0 hospitals reporting. But with only 26 hospitals reporting out of 70, there's still 230 hospitalizations, 10 people on a ventilator, at least according to these numbers. All these numbers are wrong. 28 people in the ICU. Discharges 41 yesterday. Don't take any of these numbers seriously. They will likely get updated on Monday with, I don't know how many hospitals will come in. New York State, 1,890 total positive cases on the most recent update. That's for COVID. Then that does include reinfections. Taking a look at New York State hospitalizations, 1,066 is the number they came in with for Friday. And when we take a look at that compared to the previous week, it's actually slightly higher. It's actually higher than the 1,063. Then it did go up slightly, but again, it didn't drop as much this week. I think New York State's at the flipping point. I think New York State now is going to probably start going up. If not this week, the weekend after. It's going to start going up for COVID in the hospital again. All right, California. Speaking of going up, look at the positivity in California. Yep, look at that. It's starting to go up again. Take a look at new hospital admissions. They're not really dropping all that much. They're actually starting to rise again. Deaths, however, are dropping. That's good, but deaths lag. So if deaths are going to increase, it's going to be a few weeks before that happens. Let's go over to Los Angeles. COVID hospitalizations in Los Angeles. Look at this chart. They're starting to rise. That's not a good thing. Then we come up here to testing positivity rate in Los Angeles, California. Yep, that's rising as well. Again, also not good. Let's take a look at Chicago now. Hospitalizations. Daily average, 13. That's up. Beds in use is down ever so slightly. That's good. Emergency department visits, they're up. Confirmed cases, average daily. Wow, am I reading this correctly? Chicago's doing about 141 cases a day. That's not good. Deaths in Chicago, they're up. They're doing about one a day. And vaccines administered, they're going up. That's something we like to see, and maybe part of that's because I want to get boosted before Thanksgiving. That's great. I'm really happy you're getting a booster, but I got to break to you the bad news. It takes 2 weeks, 2 full weeks, for the booster to really become effective. So if you just got the booster now, it's not effective enough in time for Thanksgiving. All right, let's take a look at Texas this week. Unfortunately, the bad news, and I got to break the bad news to you. Texas had a pretty significant increase in hospitalizations, 10,640 versus 9,626. That works out to 1,013 higher. And did I just say hospitalizations? I'm talking about Texas COVID cases. However, we'll get to the hospitalization in just a moment because the hospitalizations are up. So again, cases in Texas, not hospitalizations. Cases are up by 1,013. So 10,640 versus 9,627. And then you come down here to hospitalizations, which they're up by 34 in Texas. They never got below 1,000. That was the wild card for there. It was also the wild card in New York State, and I don't think it's going to happen in either now, because we are seeing here 1,073 people now in the hospital in Texas versus 1,039 deaths. They only dropped by 1. Texas did another 40 deaths this week versus 41. Then we come over here to Massachusetts. 12.6% of emergency department visits during the last week were for acute respiratory disease. 12.6%. That's quite a few. So not good to see that number rising. Then we come over here to Washington State and COVID. It's down 20% for emergency visits. Influenza's up 33%. That's not good. RSV is up 100%. COVID admissions are down 22%. Flat for influenza. RSV up 100%. And number of ICU beds occupied. 21 for COVID in Washington State. And that's actually down by 1. Now we come over to Colorado. Colorado COVID-19 data, it's starting to go up again. They currently have 244 people in the hospital versus 232. Now let's take a look at a little bit of an international update. Just a couple international states, and yes, these advertisements are going to come up. Let me tell you a brief story about the advertisements. We tried ad blockers. when I did an ad blocker, a lot of the news sites, if I click on news stories to share during these videos or whatever, it would all of a sudden block me from going to the website. So we had to stop the ad blockers. At some point, will I try and do something about that again and get it back? Maybe, because I tell you, it annoys me as well. Moving on. Russia, cases are up 21%, deaths are up 21%. Brazil, what is going on in Brazil? Look at this. Cases up 10%, 27,921 versus 25,377. But this should be something that really catches your eye. Deaths are up 197%, 300 versus 101. Was there some sort of a backlog that I don't know about? Yeah, that's not good. Poland, cases up 14%, deaths are actually down 23%. Then we come down here to Chile, cases up, wow, 309%, 3,549 versus 868. Still no deaths reported. I don't know what the deal is with that. If their cases are rising this much, unfortunately, they're going to eventually have some deaths as well. 33% increase in cases in Switzerland, also not reporting on their deaths for some reason. Finland cases, it says here, down 61% on cases and down 98% on deaths. I don't know if that's actually believable. And let's try and end on a good note. Thailand, cases are down 6%. All right, real quickly. Let's take a look at this week's flu numbers. Yeah, take a look here. Not good. We have very high levels in Louisiana. We have high levels in Puerto Rico, almost very high levels. Almost very high levels right across Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. Yeah, that's not good. Florida, high levels. New Mexico, high levels. Moderate in California, but borderline high now. New Jersey is even now at moderate levels. And we have high levels in D.C., and with Thanksgiving coming up, this is just going to explode across the country. There are reports that hospital admissions for influenza, they're really starting to go up, going up faster than usual. We have already seen one state, I believe it was Arizona, that had the death of a child from influenza. Yeah, flu is starting to become severe this year. It's something we're going to have to take note of. You're going to have potentially a severe wave of flu on top of a severe wave of COVID. The hospitals are about to get overwhelmed from Thanksgiving. Please take precautions if you are going to travel this Thanksgiving. Masking everywhere you go, including rest areas, which will be jam-packed because 49 million Americans are going to be hitting the road. Millions more will be hitting the airports. Yeah, please take precautions this week. And like if you're going to be, I need to stop at Starbucks before we hit the road. Starbucks is going to be packed this week. Please. It's not that hard to wear a mask. You put it on, then when you get back in the car, you can take it off if you should choose. Okay? Alrighty, folks. That does it for today's pandemic update. We will have the wastewater update tomorrow afternoon. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. And if you know anyone that needs to see this data, by all means, share this with them. I will see you again next time. But until I see everyone again next time, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Saturday evening. Thanks for watching.